Hi everybody, and welcome to part 1 of my Kortare 132nd Spitfire Mk1a mid-production build. What can I say about the kit? There's not a lot of parts to it, but then again what you do get is sublime. The mouldings are gorgeous, the instructions are very good, the decals that you get with it are excellent. Overall it's a really great kit, and once you get it together you get something that looks, to my eye, every bit a Mk1 Spitfire. As you can see, I'm at a stage now where it's ready for priming. So all I need to do now is clean the plastic with isopropyl alcohol, just to clean off any grease, fingerprints, dust and the like. Then I'll go away, I'll prime it and I'll get it for painting. Now this is part 1 of a 2-part video. And in this video I get it to the stage where I've just shown you. Now if you like what you've seen, I hope you do, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a young channel and I'm trying to grow it, and yeah, it takes time, but I'm really enjoying it. Anyway guys, that's enough from me. Please enjoy the video. Supermarine Spitfire Mk1 N3200 was built at Southampton in 1939 and was issued to No. 19 Squadron at RAF Duxford in April 1940. On the 10th of May 1940, Germany invaded France and the Low Countries, pushing the British Expeditionary Force along with French and Belgian troops back to the French port of Dunkirk. By the end of May 1940, Germany's rapid advance through northwest Europe had forced Allied troops back to the coast of the English Channel. On the 26th of May, Operation Dynamo began, which included the Royal Air Force sending all available aircraft to protect the evacuation. Geoffrey Stevenson, a squadron leader with No. 19 Squadron, piloted Spitfire N3200 on its first and only operation as he led his squadron on a patrol to cover the evacuation of Allied forces. After shooting down a Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber, Stevenson was himself shot down. He crash-landed N3200 on a beach at Sangatte near Calais and was captured. Stevenson remained a prisoner for the rest of the war, including a period spent at Castle Colditz, while his Spitfire gradually sank under the sand. Stevenson continued his RAF career after the war, but was killed in 1954 while test flying in America. His Spitfire was recovered from the French sands in 1986 after strong currents revealed it, more than 45 years after it had sank. The wreckage was excavated during the spring of that year, and although largely intact, very few parts could be salvaged. Following the recovery of the aircraft's remains, Spitfire N3200 was acquired in 2000 by Dr. Thomas Kaplan and Simon Marsh. Dedicated to the restoration of this historic aircraft, they commissioned Historic Flying Limited to undertake the intensive work required to return the Spitfire to its former glory. After much work, this unique aircraft was restored to flying condition and returned to the air in 2014. In 2015, it was generously donated to the Imperial War Museum and the nation by Dr. Kaplan and his family. This is my interpretation of this beautiful aircraft. As with most builds, I started in the cockpit, and using a pin vise and some very cheap drill bits, I decided to drill out all the lightning holes in the seat. And again, I just used the pin vise just to drill out any of the lightning holes in the framework just behind the cockpit, just to really enhance it. The instructions call for some of the cockpit interior to be painted in a supermarine green or a apple green, and to achieve this I used XF71 mixed with some Tamiya X28 just to give the variation of the greens, and I think it actually works really well. And other parts of the cockpit just received a coat of XF71. And here we have the finished port and starboard cockpit sidewalls There's been no pin wash applied, they've just been painted and decals applied. Overall, I'm very happy with how they actually turned out, and I think it's testament to the kit itself. With the levels of detail, you can achieve a great result just by using the kit parts and a little bit of careful painting. Overall, I'm very happy with how it's actually turned out. The armour plating was painted black with a yellow dot. And the seat itself was carefully painted with XF71 and NATO black for the backrest. The control column was a Barracuda replacement, and again this was just basically painted just to give it visual interest, with the gun button being anodised red. The instrument framework was painted XF71, and the actual instrument panel itself was painted XF1 and XF69 just to give it some tonal variation for the black. And I replaced the instrument faces themselves with the Airscale World War II RAF instrument dial decals, and they work very well. All that was left were some finishing touches for the cockpit, and then the fuselage could be buttoned up. The construction of the wings was very straightforward. You just add the main spar, add the internal wheel wells, and basically glue the wings together. And again, I didn't experience any problems whatsoever with this part of the build. As with the rest of the kit, the horizontal stabilisers went together very well indeed. Didn't need any work really whatsoever. And the main wings, as you can see, were a fabulous fit. The tape over the wings is just to keep them together whilst the glue is setting. The fillets that you have to add either side, again, they went on very easily. And just to emphasise how good the fit is, I'm just dry fitting the fuselage here to the main planes, the main wings. And look at that, it's an absolutely glorious fit. I never experienced any issues really with the build itself. And here's the fully assembled fuselage and wings, and the horizontal stabilisers are just push fitted just to give the impression of the actual finished airframe. And I think you'll agree the fit is outstanding. I've used no filler whatsoever. So next up, I'll clean the fuselage with some isopropyl alcohol just to clean off any grease and fingerprints, and then I'll prep her for paint, which will be in the second video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.